Morning. I'm here to read chapter 2 of our book, Toby's Story. Okay, so in the first chapter, if you recall, I think he was just born, and he's talking about all the different smells, and it seems that he's a little bit of a rascal because he got out of his enclosure, and the farmer had to put him back in. Chapter 2. The next morning, I hurried over to examine that gap in the fence, ready to get out and run in the grass and maybe visit the chickens again, or ignore that cat. But to my surprise, no matter how hard I pushed my nose against the wire, it would not budge. The gap was gone, and Walt's scent was painted all over the place. I had to be content with chasing Titus and Tabitha around our pen. That was fun, but not as much fun as running outside, where there was more room and more to smell. When would I get outside again? About that time, our mother began to grow restless and when we'd snuggle up to her and feed. Once or twice, she even got up and moved away from us, leaving us yipping for more. On one of those days, Walt came in the pen with a bowl in each hand. Something in these bowls smells exciting. It made my tail wag eagerly. When Walt sat the bowls down, I dashed over to investigate one of them. Inside was a soft brown mush. I stuck my nose into it and sniffed hard. Then I had to sneeze and shake my head to get brown blobs off my muzzle. Titus licked my face to help it clean. My other brothers and sisters were sniffing and licking the stuff in the bowl. I saw Tess bite at it. That seemed like a good idea, so I shook Titus off, stuck my nose back in the bowl, and took a bite. It was awesome. Eating rather than drinking was a little strange at first, but the mush tasted so good, I didn't want to stop. When the bowl was empty, there was mush on my nose, and feet, and fur, and on the grass beneath my paws, but there was some in my belly as well. The next day, Walt brought more of the mush, and we all knew what to do right away. And once the bowls were empty, he did something even more exciting. He opened the gate to our pen. We dashed outside, bumping into each other in eagerness to explore. Something was waiting for us in the grass. A black, squarish sort of something with 4 wheels. It was not much bigger than we were, but it was definitely not a puppy. Later, I learned that this kind of thing was called a car. Some cars are bigger than others, just like some dogs are tiny and some are huge. This is a small one. I approached it and sniffed it thoroughly. It had a strange smell, one I didn't recognize. It wasn't dirt or grass or water or fur or anything that I'd met before. "Ready to chase the car?" Walt called. I glanced at him. He was standing holding a little shiny black box with both hands. What did he want us to do? I would eat again if that was what he was saying. Then, to my astonishment, the car moved. I was shocked. I was pretty sure it was not alive. It had no animal smell to it, so how could it move like that? It lunged forward, and then it stopped. It did the same thing again. Then it seemed to decide what it wanted and zoomed ahead, bumping over the grass. I barked at it, and so did my littermates. Then suddenly, I knew what I was supposed to do next. This thing, whatever it was running away. I had to chase it. That's what you do to things that run, you chase them. All of my brothers and sisters had the same idea. Barking and yipping, we raced over the grass after the car. Walt stood nearby. He seemed to be interested in the car too, because he kept pointing the black box at it. But Walt didn't chase the car for some reason. That was my first hint that people don't always understand how to have fun. They need dogs to show them. I hoped the cat was watching so she would know what to do the next time. The little car might not have been alive, but it was still very clever. It zipped and zoomed this way and that, turning sharply left or right, just when one dog came or another was about to catch it. Even our mother came out of the pen and joined the chase. How perfect. How amazing. There was wind in my face, bringing that remarkable smell to me, and all my family was here, and we were just chasing something that was running. There was only one problem. My feet had started to itch, and itch, and itch. I had to stop running to shake them. Then I dashed forward again. For a few steps, the cool grass felt good against my pads, but then the itching started again, worse than ever. I had to sit down and nibble at one of my front feet. Then I had to flop down on my side so that I could get at the back foot in my mouth and chew on it. The chewing helped the itching, but as soon as I stopped, it started again. I saw that the car had stopped moving. Tamara and Timothy barked at it while Tess climbed on it and fell off. I would have liked to join them, but I was busy at the moment. Walt came over to sit down next to me. Something wrong with your feet, little guy? You get something stuck up there? He picked me up and held me upside down so that he could look at my feet. I don't see anything. The car had clearly not finished playing because it started moving jerkily forward. I went back to chasing it, but it was not as much fun as before because I had to keep stopping to gnaw at my feet, trying to get that itch to go away. That night, I lay with my mother and brothers and sisters, all warm and comfortable together, but I couldn't sleep. Not for long. My feet itched so much that they burned, and I kept squirming and waking up and even whimpering a little. This page has a nice picture. So now you can see it's not a big car. It was just a little remote control car. I wonder what's wrong with his feet. I couldn't understand how my brothers and sisters slept so soundly. Didn't their feet itch too? Walt would often let us out of the pen after that. Titus and Timothy, Tess and Tamara and Tabitha were always happy to run over the soft grass and bark at chickens, and sometimes try to teach that car who was boss. It never learned. I wanted to run with them. I wanted to be the one to teach that car its manners, or bite a falling leaf, or chase a butterfly, but I didn't always feel like it. My feet never stopped itching. Sometimes I could ignore it, but other times I couldn't, and I would have to lie down and chew on them to try to make things better. One day, when I was lying in our pen, nibbling at one of my front paws, some new people arrived. A man and a boy got out of the big car, not one of the kind that are good for chasing, and walked over to us. Walt was with them, and he opened the gate and let the brothers and sisters out in the yard. The car was there, waiting for them, and it zoomed ahead while they barked with excitement and tore after it, tails waving. I did not feel like chasing the car. I had not gotten much sleep the night before, since I kept waking up to chew my feet. I was too tired to chase. I almost felt too tired to be happy. My mother came over and nudged me with her nose. I could smell and feel her concern, and I licked her cheek. It did not make my feet feel any better. What's wrong with that one? I don't know, Walt said, and he sounded puzzled. He's not sick, as far as I can tell. He just doesn't seem all that lively. The man and boy watched all my brothers and sisters chase the car. The boy sat down on the grass, laughing, and Tabitha jumped up to lick his face. This one, the boy said to his father. Think she'll make a good hunting dog? The father asked. Walt chuckled. Never seen a beagle yet that wasn't. They all love to chase down anything that moves. It's bred in them. The man and Walt talked a little more, and then the boy scooped up Tabitha in his arms and held her snugly, and walked back to the car. I lifted my head and watched them go. My mother barked, and then sat down next to me. Tabitha was going with the boy, I realized. She would not be coming back. My sister had been part of my family, but at that moment I understood that things had changed. She belonged to a new family now. It was a little sad, but it was right, too. Dogs belong with human families. Human families need dogs. I couldn't help wondering whether this new family would have wanted me if I chased the car like Tabitha. The same thing happened again and again in the next few days. People drove up in big cars and watched as my brothers and sisters chased the little car through the grass. Sometimes I would leave the pen with them, but I didn't have the energy to chase the car. It felt better to lie in the shade and nibble my feet when the itching got bad. The new visitors talked with Walt. Lots of them mentioned hunting. Birds, they said. I need a good bird dog. Or, gotta have one who can go after rabbits. Often they'd pick up a puppy and leave. After a man and woman had left with Tess, Walt came to sit next to me with a sigh. I don't know what I'm going to do with you, Toby, he said, rubbing behind my ears. You're a cute little guy, but nobody around here is going to pay for a beagle who doesn't want to hunt. Titus was next to go. Then Timothy left with a family who had 2 little girls. And finally, Tamara vanished in the arms of a tall, gangly teenage boy. Walt waved goodbye to the boy who had taken Tamara, then came and put me back in my pen with my mother. Toby boy, I can't even give you away for free. I'd hate to take you to the shelter, but this is a working ranch, you know. Everyone here has a job. Can't afford to keep an animal who doesn't do something useful. I knew he was sad, and I wish I could do something. I looked at his hands and then lay down in the patch of dirt with a sigh. I was tired. My mother came and nudged me with her nose. She walked a few steps away and looked back at me. I thought she wanted me to do something. What was it? She came back to nudge me again. This time, she ran away. Once again, she stopped and looked back. I knew what she wanted. Every dog knows the signal for chase me. Was she trying to tell me that if I would only run, I could belong to a family? But I was too busy to run just then. One of my back feet itched and burned. I needed to lick and bite it. As if the itch were an enemy I could drive away if I were fierce enough. I couldn't chase my mother. After a few moments, my mother returned to my side. She lay down next to me, curling her body around mine. It felt good, and I leaned into her. She licked the top of my head. I loved being with my mother. I loved her closeness and her smell and her warmth. But I knew deep down that I should belong to a human family, just like my brothers and sisters. What if I never found my human family? What if nobody wanted me? So I really wonder what is going on with his feet. I mean, maybe, could it be allergies? I'm not sure. I've never read this story, so I'm just as intrigued as everybody else.